Be sure to read the chapter on effervescent powders. It talks about the chemistry of making a powder so that carbon dioxide is released when they're mixed with water. To make the powder, we need to be aware of a special property of tartaric acid. Tartaric acid is a relatively hard crystal, and it's very difficult to sieve at a sieve size less than 40. What we will need to do is take extra tartaric acid and sieve it before we begin the experiment. Then what you will need to weigh during the experiment is the tartaric acid that has been sieved. Approximately 60% of tartaric acid will pass through a 40-mesh sieve easily. Calculate how much tartaric acid is necessary, add the additional amount of about 40%, and then sieve your product, and use the sieved tartaric acid in the product. We have 4 powders to add into our formula for the effervescent powder. Therefore, we will want to mix them by geometric dilution. Start with the smallest amount of powder, in this case, the ibuprofen. Add it and then add the next smallest amount of powder, the citric acid, in an amount that is approximately equal by sight to what's in the mortar, and triturate together. It is not necessary to press this trituration. We're simply trying to blend the powders, and so a very light trituration is all that's needed. Use the KitchenAid type spatula to push the powders down from the side of the mortar and prevent scratching the glass. Lump the powders together so that you can see the approximate size, and then add the next amount of powder so that the sizes are approximately equal, and triturate again. Again, a light trituration is all that is needed, as we're not trying to grind the powders down. They will be sieved later. Add the remaining tartaric acid and part of the bicarb, which is approximately equal in size to the mixture that's already in the mortar. Triturate lightly. And at this point, we have just a small amount of the bicarb left, so we can add that to our mixture and triturate. Sieve the powder through a 40-mesh sieve using a hard rubber spatula. Collect the powder on a glassine sheet. The hard rubber spatula will not scratch the side of the mortar either. By sieving the powder to a uniform particle size, we will ensure that each dose of the powder will behave the same as the previous dose. An equal distribution of particles ensures dosage form performance will be the same. After the powder has been sieved, transfer it to an airtight bottle. It's important to use an airtight container because the sodium bicarb will pick up moisture from the citric acid and will lose its ability to react. By putting it in an airtight container, this also prevents the sodium bicarb from picking up moisture from the air and allows the effervescent powder to remain active for a longer period of time. Cap the bottle, affix a label, and dispense. If you would like to test the effervescent powder, there is no official test, but there is a way to do it using a 100 ml beaker containing 50 ml of water. Take a teaspoonful of powder and dump it all at one time into the 50 mils of water. And you can measure the height that the bubbles rise as an indirect indication of the fissibility of the powder. You notice the release of carbon dioxide as the product continues to effervesce, and the time to take the medication is right after the powders have quit fizzing and have dissolved in the liquid.